10 years ago, I took my first international flight from Mumbai to San Francisco to pursue my master's from California State University. I was the first one in my family to go outside of India and also the first one to have this highest level of education. So there was already a lot of pressure to perform, but I was excited and I could feel the thrill about starting this new chapter. But then reality hits me hard as soon as I land in United States, get out of that airport, walk towards the port of entry and face that immigration interview. I was worried, what is the officer going to ask me? I was memorizing my answer like what and how will I say to the most dreaded question, what is your purpose of this visit? With the hope that the officer will say, welcome to the United States. If you're new to this channel, my name is Yudi and I talk about everything related to studying in United States to building a successful career in United States that you absolutely love. So in this video, I want to deep dive into the interesting truth and the intricacies of studying in United States that everyone goes through it, but they can't put it in the words, or they obviously don't put it on Instagram, and no one really talks about how they go through it. Look, I've been in United States for last 10 years. I've been working in the tech industry for last 8 years. So I've seen through the entire student journey and I want to help you prepare for what's to come. Let's go back to where we started in the beginning of the video. As soon as I cleared my port of entry and customs, I felt like, okay, great, I made it. But then I realized I have to pay for the trolley that I'm going to use to carry my luggage. And guess what? I started converting that dollars to rupees for every little thing. And I was thinking, this trolley is going to cost me like 300 rupees because at that time the dollar price was not 80 rupees. It was a bit of a shocker at that point of time and it made me feel a little miserable, but it is what it is, and life goes on. You see, there are several aspects of studying in United States and your life will go through a dramatic change. Let's begin with the first one, which is food and drinks. One of the things that you will get used to is drinking black coffee. So initially I hated the black coffee taste absolutely, and you obviously won't get that delicious masala chai, and first of all you might say like, oh, I can just make it. It is too painful to make one because you have to remember that you also have to do the dishes for it. But then I was working on campus. I had an assignment to complete one, and usually the assignments are due on the midnight. So me and my roommate stays up until the assignment completion and upload date. Then we celebrated that we have submitted the assignment, only to realize that, okay, 6 a.m. is my shift and I have to go to Oncampus. This is where I got introduced to black coffee and espresso shots. And 10 years later, I cannot live without black coffee. Well, I technically can, but you know what I mean. American breakfast is completely opposite of Indian breakfast, where we have poha, idli sambar, dosa, fafda and jalebi. I'm guju. But here you will have bagels and apple pies and donuts and hash brown potatoes and so on. Trust me, you will be soon adopting these new delicacies as part of your new routine diet. Now let's talk about assignments in United States. For those of you who are pursuing masters and bachelors and don't know how the whole grading system work, in United States you are not just graded on your final exam. You are graded, in fact some of the final exam might be just 20% of the total grade. You are graded throughout the whole masters, throughout the course of the semester, and assignment might be actually the 40 to 50% of your total grade. So first time I started my course and I got the assignments, I was sweating and I was struggling with it. I realized that what I learned back in India was the just tip of iceberg. Here's I'm expected to learn a lot more than that. It was overwhelming at first, but I remember that every single struggle is a step towards catching up and mastering these skills. That's why I was doing masters, right? You'll end up spending most of your weekend doing these assignments because most of the assignments will be due on the Sunday midnight. But one thing I do want to emphasize that if you do all of these assignments on your own, you will upskill to whole another level and you will have a lot more of confidence during your job hunt journey and job interviews. Please trust me on this. For example, in my first semester, I had a data structure class with assignments due every single week, every single weekend, and it was intense. But it's not only helped me build like a solid foundation in programming, but it also helped me build a strong profile, because every single assignment was also a project or like a mini project, which I could use it as an experience in my resume, which helped me get more interviews. So ultimately, what I want to tell you is that yes, it's going to be drastically different and shocking for you, probably harder for you, but that is what you're coming for. That is why you're coming to upskill yourself, to grow yourself. So embrace these changes and go at it. Now, I know we are talking about education system in United States, and you're probably thinking, Yudi, education in United States is super expensive. I can't even afford to go to United States for my education because I don't have money, nor I have a collateral or a cosigner to get a loan. But guess what? There is someone else who's willing to take a bet on you based on your skills and your future. Yes, you heard it right. Empower gives you loan up to $100,000 based on your future potential. Not just that, you get the loan on fixed interest rate, not a variable interest rate. So if finance is the only thing that is stopping you from moving abroad and studying abroad, check out Empower. Highly recommend. Another thing I love about Empower is that they truly care about the student and want them to be successful. Your success is their success. I can truly vouch for that. Empower is led by former international students, made by international students for international students. So many brands just talks about this, but they actually do it in person. They have an amazing path to success program for all the students to support them, not just during the loan process, but throughout the career until they have a successful career in United States. Again, I highly recommend, check out the link in the description. You can quickly check the eligibility for completely free. Okay, so let's keep talking about another aspect of studying abroad, which is going to be on-campus jobs or part-time jobs on campus. And there are several on-campus jobs like cafeteria, and library, and dining areas, and receptions, and other on-campus jobs. Back in India, I had my family. My mom took care of everything. My dad took care of bills and rent and all of that. Here, I have to cook for myself, do dishes, do assignments, do the laundry, on-campus jobs, prepare for interviews and internships, do the networking. I have to do everything. I even teared up in the nights because it was getting overwhelmed for me. But trust me when I say that these jobs, on-campus jobs, taught me responsibility, time management, how to manage everything on your own, independence, growth. They were humbling and challenging at the same time. Getting these jobs are not going to be easy. I started applying as soon as I got the admit letter and I got my email address from my university. So that is what I would recommend. I would recommend you to reach out to seniors and professors, start emailing them, start reaching out to all the job listings that are listed on your job portal. Biggest thing that it will teach you is the value of hard work, money, and time, because you will use this money that you are making on campus. You'll probably make like $800 to $1,000. Some jobs are obviously more. This money that you will be making, every single dollar that you spend, you'll be thinking about it because you have spent so much time earning that money. Getting an on-campus job and doing an on-campus job is an amazing part of your studying abroad. It is challenging, but it's also going to help you grow. Okay, let's talk about a very common change that all of us will go through: seasons, or rather seasonal depressions. Let me explain. So it hit me hard during my first winter, which starts roughly around November-ish, at least in California. It gets really dark at 4 p.m. I'm not kidding. In summer, and daylight is until like 9 p.m. Right now is summer. It's like 9 p.m. the daylight will be there. Obviously, it doesn't snow where I live, but it gets really cold, almost 0 degrees Celsius. Now, that's me in California, but I know East Coast is worse because winters are horrible. It will feel magical when the first few snowfalls happen, but then you will be miserable and hate it. All the East Coast people, if you're watching, please comment, let me know. In Arizona and other states, the summers are worse because it gets like 50 degrees Celsius or 128 degree Fahrenheit. And during this time, during these seasons, whether it is hot or cold, you will end up feeling so miserable because you are ultimately just staying in your apartment to avoid all of this. You might not even realize that this is going to affect your mood and happiness levels. Trust me, this will happen, and this is often referred to seasonal depression. But as the time goes on, you will start getting used to this seasonal changes. Another thing that I want to touch upon is Indian festivals. First of all, you might not even celebrate it if your campus does not have a good Indian student club, but if they do have, you might not be celebrating when the actual day is, because you don't get a holiday in United States for celebrating your festivals in India. So you might be celebrating a weekend before or 2-3 weekends after. If you have exams, then you might postpone it like a month later. Regardless, it may happen, but it is a small chance for you to celebrate that Indian festival. During Diwali, you will not obviously hear the crackers and mom-made delicacies. Yes, there's going to be Garba parties during Navratri, because again, I'm Guju. There will be Diwali events, but you will miss your home and family terribly during these seasons, because if you're someone who celebrates these festivals. This is where it gets very interesting, because the feeling of isolation, because you are surrounded with a lot of people, still you will feel isolated during these times, and you might not realize that, because everyone is also feeling the same thing as you are feeling. Regardless, my recommendation is to go to these events, because that's where you will feel the sense of belongingness and community. Now, let's talk about one of the worst and the most intense part of your student journey and my student journey, which was job hunting. It is probably true for all the international students. Some of you might be lucky. I found myself relatively incompetent compared to others. I was constantly comparing to others. I was also feeling imposter syndrome, that maybe I'm not good enough for this job. These types of thoughts will come when you start your internship and job hunt journey. The interviews were tough. There is no jugaad around this. I felt like giving up, but then I worked hard. Day in and day out, I got few offers at the end of it, and trust me, you will also have it. The US job market right now is trash. It is very competitive. The demand is there, but then supply is even more. So you need to be prepared for networking, getting interview calls, cracking multiple rounds of interviews, but do not give up when the time gets rough, because you don't know the one person that you needed to connect, which might have turned into a job offer. That one interview might turn into a job offer. So you don't know how far you are from that job offer. So just when the time feel like, okay, I feel like nothing is working out, you feel like giving up, don't, because you have to keep going, because you might be closer than you think you are. And trust me, at some point you feel like your life is all about eating, sleeping, going to classes, assignments, and applying to the jobs. That's it. You're going to continuously just doing this for a long period of time, and obviously you will wake up with hundreds of rejection emails. You will probably get interview calls, and you will say that you need sponsorship, and you will be ghosted completely after that. As long as you stay true to the process, keep working hard, do not give up, stay focused on the goal, it will work out. Trust me on that. And this is also where Empower does an amazing job, because again, I have partnered with them on a 4-week live career bootcamp program where I teach every single thing. As I'm a hiring manager, I work with recruiters, so I teach them everything in these live sessions. So if you end up choosing Empower, you will get full access to obviously that amazing 4-week career bootcamp. And not only that, you'll also get access to guest sessions with recruiters and job hunting tools and many other valuable resources that makes you successful. Another aspect of studying abroad is homesickness and loneliness. These are real challenges. They are very subtle in the nature, but it does impact you heavily. You will feel isolated, especially if you're coming from a big, close-knit family. The culture differences and the lack of a familiar support system will be tough. Another thing that you will notice is that everyone just becomes selfish as soon as they land in United States. They become very insecure. You will feel there's some form of groupism is going on in your batch. Some people from some states will stay together and some will not stay together. Another strange thing that will happen is that you'll be staying with complete stranger roommates, in your apartment, and that will dramatically affect your lifestyle. Your own roommate or your batchmates will not tell you if there are job openings on campus because they won't apply to it, because they feel that if somehow they tell you, then you might steal that opportunity, because again the insecurity kicks in and they feel like you might take away their opportunity. And unfortunately, this is the reality. You just have to go through it. But I've also heard the opposite side of things, where I've heard the whole batch gets together and help one another in job hunting. They share the job posting with one another. Duke University has one of this culture like that. I've also heard people finding the best friends and best roommates during this process, and they become the lifelong friends. I have some of the best good friends during my master's program as well. So you just have to look at that silver lining and keep moving towards your end goal. And finally, I want to talk about one last thing, which is your visits to India. At first you will be visiting India frequently and cherishing every single moment that you spend with your friends and family, and that vada pav and pani puri and all of those things that you want to eat, you've been longing to eat, Chinese food also. You will enjoy all of that. But then as the time goes on, your visits will also become less and less frequent, because you will be working full time and you will have a limited time off. You will get 2 weeks time off, and in that 2 weeks you have to decide whether you want to go to India or you want to go somewhere else, and how are you going to manage the time off. You will be constantly battling and talking to your manager to have you work from India and convince them if it's okay with them and all of that. You might also realize that when you used to go back to India, your old friends have moved on with their life, and they have gotten their own set of family and community now, and you have also made your family and community in United States. So things might be different, and slowly, who never knows how things will go. Look, I don't want to depress you, but I really wanted to make you aware of the entire journey, because this is all of these things that you will go through. And the best part is that you are aware that this will happen, so you're mentally prepared for it. Journey of studying in United States comes with all ups and downs. It has ups and it also has downs. And it's not all glamorous as it's shown in social media, because again, people don't want to show that they are lonely and they're crying in the room and they don't have a full-time job and they're depressed. That's just not something they would want to display on their social media profile. So there's no way for you to know. You might only think that their life is settled and amazing when they are in United States, but that's far from the reality. And again, all I'm trying to say is that, I still think that coming to United States was one of the best decisions of my life. And if I were given a choice to go back in time, would I choose again? Yes, absolutely. It has completely, dramatically changed my life, and I wouldn't want to do it any other ways. So embrace all the ups and downs of studying in United States. Come prepared, be mentally ready for this challenge. You got this. I'm here for you. If you need any help during the entire process, I'm here. Even after this process, coming to immigration and all of that, I'm here for you. So if you find this video helpful, I've made a similar video about comparing the life in United States versus India. Here it is. Go check this out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep smiling and keep hustling. You gotta hustle every single day.